This has been a particularly contentious election because of the war of words between Turkey and Europe. How will that impact the actual voting?
This is a very unique kind of referendum because we know that, like in Turkey, this is the 7th referendum, but all the previous referendum, they did not have this unprecedented, unjustified clamor and fuss in the media of the West in general. The Putinization of Turkey. The Turks are knuckle under. These are the headlines of one German and one French newspaper. That kind of clamor pushed the people, I believe, with a reverse impact, a reverse effect, where the people felt that their own country is being subject to unprecedented campaign, and that will push them to vote for the yes campaign. That could be one of the possibilities, but we need to wait and see.
But the Turks have been giving as good as they got, haven't they? They've been having huge criticisms of particularly Germany and the Netherlands, talking about Nazi practices. Has not hardened some opinion against Turkey?
The point is, Europe in general is the beacon of democracy and free speech. And that's why when the ministers wanted to meet with their constituents in Europe and they were blocked access to meet them, the people were angered and they felt that this is not necessary. They could just have met them and they could just have their rallies in there, and there is no need for this retaliation in words between the two parties.
But my understanding is in the Turkish constitution it's actually illegal to campaign abroad.
It is not illegal. This is like a custom, a habit that always happening. But recently, because of this presidential system, you know, in 2010, the referendum, Europe completely backed it because it was like eliminating the military intervention in the civil society. But now it's because of its presidential system that is going to change the whole system from the parliamentary into a presidential one. Turkey is, Europe is a little bit concerned that this is going to take Turkey into a more dictatorship or a more autocratic regime under one-man rule. And that's why they're refusing that. But it's, again, at the end of the day, it's the Turks who should decide on this. It's a completely internal issue. And I believe that NATO or all the European countries, they should support the democratic measure, because at the end of the day, it is still a democratic process that is happening in Turkey. And for Europe, they should be concerned about the result, and they should be ready for both case scenarios. That's best for Turkey from the one hand and for Europe from the other hand.
Whichever way the result goes, do you think that after this referendum, Turkey and Europe will be able to patch things up? I mean, a lot of things are said during election campaigns which aren't necessarily followed through afterwards. Do you think they'll be able to calm the situation and become friends again, as it were?
Of course, at the time of the campaigns, you have a different rhetoric. After you have the results, things are completely changing. But the point is, if the yes campaign wins, I believe that Turkey is going to be a more independent, strong partner, present itself to Europe. It's no more NATO's eastern flank. It's going to be a more influential partner, and its own concerns and its own demands, requests are going to be taken seriously. But if the no campaign wins, at that time the AK Party, the Justice and Development Party position is going to be weakened internally and in Europe. The constitution is going to be shelved, and then I don't believe that the AK Party government is going to be able to present itself as a more stronger partner to the European Union. That's why they're desperately working hard on the ground here in Turkey to have a win case scenario.
Okay, Ahmed Al Burai, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll know the results in about 8 days' time.
Yeah, thank you.